Hello, on the Beanie Bard. New poem for today. My dog's been a twat and I've got a cold, so do excuse me if the quality isn't up to scratch. But I wrote this letter a few years ago for Theresa May and Donald Trump, so it's slightly updated now to write to Boris Johnson. And it's called Love Letter from an Ex-Nurse. Boris and Hancock, I've something to say. For too long now with our NHS, you've had your way. And no, I agree it wasn't just you, but I blame those two wankers before you too. It was a joke her care went to Jeremy Hunt, who, let's face it, is a right royal muppet. Won't go there in public. But as if that wasn't bad enough, you took our old lady and you treated her rough. You cut staff numbers a total farce and left the system on its arse. Now nurses start their career with a kind of debt that when they see their first payslip they soon regret, as training bursaries were quickly scrapped and pay rises frozen when they weren't being capped. And for 7 years across the nation, health workers' pay fell, discounting inflation. Junior doctors' strikes had never before been seen. Was that a high point for you and your team? And it was never all over the night shift pay, even though you keep trying to take it away. But a 7-day service with 5-day staff makes me think Hunt never scored all that highly in maths. But then we had to consider his word to be ravings when he asked for 22 billion in efficiency savings at a time when most trusts' account books saw red. Have you ever considered a scan of his head? And now we're 40,000 nurses and 7,000 GPs short, and half the land is sold off and bought. The Red Cross called Winters a humanitarian crisis. It might be time to consider your decisions weren't wisest. Waiting times have soared since your little cronies arrived, but that beardy twat Branson's business has thrived. As you handed out contracts like they were sweeties, he's had so many now he's got type 2 diabetes. You accused Labour of buying a coffin to build DIY when they built en masse using your scheme PFI, the one that your mate Major dropped into play and you continue to use to this day. And now you decide it's time to build more. After all, crumbling hospitals do seem quite poor. Let's build 40, that seems fair, makes it look like we really care. So Hancock asked Hunt to lend him some paper, a pen, a ruler and a calculator, but trusting a Tory to do the math is being led willingly blinded down the garden path. 40 means 6 with some leftover change thrown to the rest. Doesn't that seem a bit strange? And those 50,000 nurses might have to work some extra hours, since 50 means 31 by Matt's addition powers. Makes me wonder if the 5,000 GPs will turn up at all, or just 5 with the rest as being down on call. Because how do you suppose your word can be believed when you lie more often than you breathe? And how can you expect to allay all our fears when health targets haven't been met for 3 years? Waiting lists for surgeries nearly have doubled, with clinic and treatment times equally troubled. Those who wait in our A&Es 4 hours and more, a 900% rise you lot oversaw. Average health span now sits at 83, but that's not for healthy life expectancy, which comes at an average of just 64. So for 20 years we need your funding so much more. And now it's time to entertain Trump, who wants the NHS condemned as a mouldering dump. Because where's the profit in socialised care? It won't pay for gold buildings or oddly coiffed hair. He wants those patents extended on US branded drugs. Generics are cheaper, so he's taking you for mugs. And it's amazing you claim the NHS isn't on the table when the moving van arrives with brown paper and labels. So whilst it's great for those that could afford to go private, if you need an ambulance for Granny, you need to enter your PIN before they'll drive it. So it's probably better that I leave my epistle there before I tell you how you buggered up social care. Thanks.